This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao, a new kind of flavored sparkling water. The kind made with real fruit juice, a pinch of Sicilian salt, and the sparkle of the Italian sun. With no added sugar and just 10 or less calories per can, enjoy. With love, from Italy. By San Pellegrino Ciao now.
Hey, it's Matt Katz, executive producer of CityCast Philly. Trinae is out this week, so I wanted to pop in before today's show with an update on the DC 33 strike. You know it if you're out in the city, mounds of trash are building up on corners and next to dumpsters and across residential blocks. It's nasty out there, and as of this recording, Mayor Sherrell Parker and the union representing some 9,000 workers, including those who work in sanitation and at the water department and for 911, they're at a stalemate over their expired contract. The union wants higher raises than what the city is offering, saying workers can't even afford to live in this town. And the mayor, she says the city can't afford to pay all that much. We're going to be back with a full show about the strike on Wednesday, but in the meantime, if you're thinking about getting out of town, maybe getting away from that trash smell, our show today is about the Jersey Shore. We're revisiting a conversation that our host Trinae Nuri had with journalist and Jersey Shore expert Jen Miller about where and how to vacation down the shore this summer. Whether it's for the beaches, boardwalks, or one of those bars that Jason Kelsey has been drinking at, Philadelphians young and old look forward to any excuse to get down to the salty ocean waters in Jersey. But maybe you don't know where to go. We're here to help. It's Tuesday, July 8th, and here's a Philadelphian's Guide to the Shore.
Jen, what's your favorite shore town?
Ooh, that's a really tough question to ask because I'm supposed to say I like them all. I spend most of my time in Avalon. I grew up spending my summers in a campground outside of Avalon called Avalon Campground. Surprise, surprise. My family now has a house in Avalon. So, the free place is going to be the one that I like. But I like going to a lot of different towns. Stone Harbor is on the same island as Avalon. I take my dog to Townsend's Inlet because she can swim in the bay there. With my nephews and my niece, I go to Ocean City. So I could pretty much make an argument for any of them.
And that's about like an hour and 30 minutes or so, hour and 40 from Philly. I like to go to Point Pleasant Beach, which I want to say is in central Jersey, but then we might get into a debate about north, south, central, east,
especially
west.
Because, the Jersey Shore is pretty much divided between where New Yorkers go and the suburbs of New York and where Philadelphia and the suburbs of Philadelphia go. So LBI is on that middle line, but I would put Point Pleasant in North Jersey. And I also like Asbury Park, which also is on the North Jersey Shore. So, and I think we're so used to in, Philadelphia, the suburbs of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and New Jersey, going down the shore that we don't really think, well, for me, Asbury Park is closer than Cape May. But historically, we've always gone south. So I'm trying to nudge people in the opposite direction a little bit, expand their horizons.
Overall, why do you think Philadelphians just love the Jersey Shore so much?
Well, a lot of it is tradition. So when there still is a rail line from Philadelphia to Atlantic City, which a lot of my friends take and I recommend, but there were trains that would take people out of the city to Atlantic City for, a restorative cure by the ocean or just to get out of hot, sweaty, at the time, possibly unsanitary conditions in Philadelphia, and they could go down the shore, literally get on a train and go down the shore and stay in boarding houses. It's where we get the term shoebie from. So they would bring their lunch in a shoebox, and that tradition has just perpetuated itself. And, then we got the Atlantic City Expressway and we got the Garden State Parkway, which made it easier for people to drive and to hit some of those southern shore towns that you could reach by rail from Atlantic City south, but just took more time. Now you could just drive down the shore.
All right, let's get into some recs. I wake up, it's a beautiful day outside, and I decide to take a spontaneous day trip to the shore. Which beach, other than the ones you just recommended, would be like a great day trip type of beach?
I can already hear the locals at this beach going, no, Strathmere. Strathmere is on the same island as Sea Isle City. So you either come in through Ocean City over a bridge, or you'll come off the Garden State Parkway in Sea Isle and go north. And Strathmere, there's not much there. There really is not much there. There's a Deauville Inn. There's a Pancake House. There's a couple other places. Again, they don't want people to talk about Strathmere because they want it to be quiet. But
Right.
there's no beach tags. So you really can just sit and just enjoy the day. And on your way home, stop in Ocean City or Sea Isle or somewhere off the parkway and get something to eat and go home.
Okay, you just mentioned beach tags. Explain to those who haven't gone down the shore what's a beach tag and why the prices vary from beach to beach.
Okay, so people hate beach tags.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's what I'll say. It's a way for the towns to take care of their beaches. So you have to pay like a day, you can get a day fee, a week fee, or a season pass. So if you want a season pass, a lot of times the towns discount them around the holidays before, it's Christmas, before the summer. And they're a way for towns to maintain those beaches. Now, people get mad about them, to which I say there are beaches that don't require beach tags. Atlantic City, Strathmere, the Wildwoods, and then the Bay beaches in Cape May. The other thing is it's typically free to park at these beaches. So like if you go to a beach in Florida and you want to park by the beach, it's going to cost you a lot of money. There are beaches and other places where you need to pay for the season, and it's way more expensive than Jersey. And I get why people complain about it. You don't want to pay to go to the beach. But you're going to pay either way. Like you're going to pay some way. And you do have those free options.
Best times to go to the beach?
I'm an early beach person, so I like to be on the beach early, get some sun in with sunblock, of course, get some swimming, get some surfing in, and then I like to be back at the beach house at lunch because then I take a nap, and I like that. And you also get out before like the hangovers start coming onto the beach. Like I'm an old lady now, like I'm middle-aged now, and I don't want to hear their country music on big speakers. Like I don't want to deal with this anymore. So I'm the person who's running on the beach at sunrise, which, in the summer can be 5:30 in the morning. So I need that nap. Best day to go on the beach, I would say, is the middle of the week if you can, because you get, the weekends are obviously very crowded for obvious reasons. But like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, like if somebody stayed an extra day or they're coming down a day or two early, you're not going to run into those. So it's definitely Tuesday or Wednesday or a sweet spot.
What shore towns have good public bathrooms?
There are laws in New Jersey about requiring beach access and public restrooms. It's a very good thing that some towns have fought against quite a bit. Also that you have to be allowed to get on the beach, like private property owners can't block beach pass. So there typically are like very nice bathrooms. Like the Ocean City Boardwalk has bathrooms along multiple spots. The main bathroom area in Avalon, there's a big municipal parking lot that's free where a lot of people park, is great. Stone Harbor has one too. I mean, it's one of those things that you think is going to be difficult, but it is required that there's beach amenities at the Jersey Shore towns by law.
We've got more recommendations for your shore trips this summer after the break.
I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast Gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast Gems.
Yep, the beauty junk drawer. Full of those used once, why did I buy this? That was a waste products. Stop adding to it. Shop at Sephora and break the cycle. Sephora only carries the hot, high-quality products you'll never regret buying, and brands you can only find at Sephora, like Kayali, Makeup by Mario, Kerastase, and M Beauty. Shop the hottest beauty with no regrets, only at Sephora.
What's in your cooler when you are spending the day at the beach?
I think one of the greatest innovations of this century are the beach chairs that are backpacks and also have little coolers in them. They're a regular beach chair that has straps to make it a backpack, and they have 2 like freezer packs, two cold storage areas. And I just put that on and you get everything and you're good. I usually bring iced coffee depending on the time of day, a can of
Mm.
iced coffee. I try to have some kind of fruit like grapes or whatever fruit is in season at the Jersey Shore. Some kind of salty snack like goldfish crackers, I think are an ideal beach snack. If I'm staying longer, like I said, I'm middle aged, but I got my, PB&J in the back because it's easy to pack, easy to eat. You can wrap it in a aluminum foil and try to keep the seagulls away.
I'm with you on some of those snacks. I like to go to the grocery store the night before if I'm like really like a good planner, get a box of like Kool-Aid jammers for the kids, freeze water bottles overnight so that they could be the ice packs, sanitizer, a roll of paper towels, a trash bag. And then everyone in the house can pick their favorite like bag of chips, like get the big
Oh,
bag.
nice. Yeah.
So I'll splurge
And
on that, right?
also sunblock and bug
Oh,
spray.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually never thought about bringing bug spray to the beach.
Yeah, those greenheads can be pretty nasty. If you're coming in for the day and you're getting into town, you can obviously look on a weather app, but also look at which way the flags are blowing. So if they're blowing away from the ocean, you should be okay. If they're blowing in the direction of the beach, it's a land breeze, you might have some greenhead issues that day.
It's inevitable that someone forgets something, forget to pack it in the trunk. So, we got to look for, extra sunscreen or some chairs or, a change of clothes or a hoodie for the night walk on the boardwalk. Which beach towns have like good options for like little stores for like those little knickknacks?
Well, I would say, I know Avalon the best. Avalon and Stone Harbor both have a store called Hoy's Five and Dime. It's a traditional five and dime. Obviously, things don't cost, a nickel and a dime
Yeah.
now, but they're going to have everything you need because that's exactly who they cater to. Oh, I forgot blank. The other place you can go are the Acme. So there are Acmes on some of the islands. There's some that are just off of the Garden State Parkway. Those Acmes are also stocked for, I forgot. And they're probably going to be cheaper than the on island five and dimes.
Okay. I'm thinking about my kids. They're a little bit older now, and we got to talk about teenagers and young adults in our lives. Some shore towns have implemented curfews, like down in Wildwood. They have like that 10 p.m. curfew for teens because, kids were meeting up in large groups. They were on the beach or the boardwalk late at night, fights, underage drinking. So, what should families know about how shore towns are enforcing curfews this year?
A lot of towns have been enacting rules about teens. And I would just say to look them up before you go. So there might be rules against numbers of kids who can be together. There might be curfews. There might be backpack bans. So if you're bringing a teenager and you're worried about they could get caught in one of these new rules or regulations, is to look at what they are. And especially if you're going to Ocean City or Wildwood, is to look at what they are for the boardwalk, because that's typically where kids are going to congregate. And it's very possible that the rules could change again this year. So that's why, it's one of those things, depending on where you're going to go, is to look up what's, the regulation of this summer.
Okay, we talked about in the first half of the show, like the day trips. Let's talk about if we want to stay for the weekend or the week or longer. I don't know. Which towns have like good accommodations for those overnight stays?
Finding a weekend place to go is tricky at the Jersey Shore because so many places don't have a lot of hotels or motels like you would in like the beach towns of Florida, for example, where, there's motel after motel lining the beach. Wildwood is probably going to be your best bet. Cape May also has some. Atlantic City is actually where you're probably going to find the most accommodations because of all the casinos. The things to consider are the casinos still allow smoking on the gambling floor. So if you're sensitive to that, there are a lot of places that keep sort of they try to separate the casino floor and where you stay. But at some point, you're probably still going to have to walk through that space. And the reason that there aren't so many hotels or motels in a lot of these shore towns is because typically you rent a house for the week. You are renting someone's shore house. And, a lot of them, they're all rentals all summer. And you would typically find those. You can search online. You would work with a realtor who would set everything up for you. But I know Atlantic City's not everybody's favorite place to go. But if you're looking to go down the shore for a weekend, that's going to be probably your best bet in terms of number of options and price.
Oh, I went to Atlantic City last summer and it just wasn't like how it used to be. I was just like, stuff was closed, some stuff
Yeah.
looked dirty. It's just like,
Some people love it. It's not for everybody, though.
yeah. All right, enough with the kids and the families. Let's talk about adult only options. If I'm looking to, hang out with my girls for a weekend down the shore, or maybe check out a few bars, where can I go party and where's the nightlife at?
I would recommend going to Cape May. There's a lot of restaurants and bars and a lot of high-end hotels that have restaurants and bars. And if I was going to plan a girls' trip, I would go to Cape May. Another option is Sea Isle because it also has a lot of bars that are, very casual, but a lot of late night. It tends to have a younger crowd, although I will say a couple years ago, my aunt and uncle and I went out to a bar that no longer exists, RIP Springfield Inn, and they drank me under the table. So it really depends, but I would say that Sea Isle is a lot of like you could show up off the beach in these bars and, just walk right from the beach into a bar and you'd be fine. Cape May, there are some places you could probably do that. That's a little more, you might want to dress up at night sort of atmosphere.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
What if you're looking for, an adventure like on a boat, jet skiing?
Last summer, I took a couple of my nephews on the Cape May Whale Watcher, and it was a whale and dolphin watching cruise, and two of them are tweens, two of them are teens, and they are boys, and they loved it. They had the best time. They couldn't stop talking about it. They saw a bald eagle. They saw dolphins. They saw dolphins with their baby dolphins. They thought it was a blast. And it was half a day, and it was just the right amount of time on a boat with 4 kids. And the Cape May Whale Watcher also has longer, sunset cruises. They have a lighthouse tour where you go to see the lighthouses that you can only see from the water. So Cape May Whale Watchers, a lot of towns will have outdoor outfitters. That's sort of like the name to look for. And they're different in every town where you can rent kayaks and, there are surf shops where you can rent surfboards. There are definitely places where you can rent something and not have to bring it.
For folks who just have never been to the Jersey Shore, are there sharks? Are there jellyfishes?
Sure. I would be careful of any sort of post like, oh, there's a shark today, because a lot of times people are just looking at a fish, or they're looking at something that isn't actually a shark. If you're concerned about things in the water, ask a lifeguard, because that's their job. The thing you are most likely to see are dolphins. The dolphins live at the Jersey Shore. They love it. I have been out surfing, and the dolphins are surfing next to me, which was wild.
Okay, you gave us some hidden gems or shore towns that you liked. Any other hidden things we should know, or places we can get discounts?
I mean, always search online, which sounds kind of boring. When you get into a town, you can go to the welcome center. Most of them have a welcome center or might have coupon books. If you are renting a house, you might get a baggie that has coupons in it, sort of like, welcome to your shore house for the week and things like that. I would say there's a lot of the history places are cheap or free. I would say things like the Wetlands Institute. If you have kids who are interested in science or things like that, you got to remember these are very rich ecosystems and natural places that, you're essentially next to the ocean. It's very different than what, the environments that most of us live in. So the other place you could look are the local libraries. You might not be able to get a library card, but they can definitely say, oh, well, here's something that we recommend for the day. Or, the Avalon Library has free events for kids too. So if it's like a crummy day, they have like Lego building days and things like that. So don't overlook those libraries if you're looking for something to do, something to read, or just to get more information. Avalon also has a history center, and most of these towns do. Last summer, the Stone Harbor History Center had a Taylor Swift exhibit because she used to spend her summers in Stone Harbor. So don't overlook that geeky, nerdy stuff too of history, because these places are so fascinating.
Do you collect like seashells as an adult?
I do.
I do too.
Because, my dad bought the shore house in 2020 and the kids collect shells. So like sometimes if I see a real good one, I've actually gone running on the beach and I have side pockets in my running shorts that I will put the shell in my pocket. And people are like, what is in your pocket? I'm like, it's a shell, of course. But anytime there's a big storm, I'm down on the beach after.
Really?
And I will say the
Okay.
Avalon Library, I have a library card. They have certain borrowing privileges if you have a house down there, even if you don't live there full time. They have a metal detector you can check out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you found like anything besides a seashell?
I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I want to. I found a lot of balloons, unfortunately, which you gotta take out of there because the wildlife chokes on them and stuff like that. Like you don't do balloon releases and stuff like that. A lot of horseshoe crabs. And I will say, you can flip over the horseshoe crabs. They're not going to hurt you. They can't physically hurt you. They look scary and ancient, but they can't, like their pinchers can't hurt you. So if you see a horseshoe crab on the beach, flip it over and give it a chance to keep going.
Jen Miller, thank you so much for all of these hacks and hidden gems and for joining me on CityCast Philly.
Oh, sure. Thanks for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about the Jersey Shore, tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.